Hey, house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother 22 updates and spoilers. Yay! Happy Monday. Hope everybody's having a great day. Our house guests of the day are Kim Bachman and Crosby Taylor. Thank you both so much for the support. We could not do this without you, and we appreciate it so much. So thank you again. And if you guys want to be house guests today, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. It's only $1 for a holla. Woo! And I also want to thank all of our super chatters before we get started here, because we also could not do the show without you guys. There's a lot of people here involved in making the show happen. So I want to thank Jefferson Tucker, Janine Hornberger, watching too much 30 Rock with Hornberger, Adley Bruges, the Baron 69, Dubs versus Paul, Rachel McClung, Arlene Hines. I had such an issue with this yesterday. I cannot read mom's writing sometimes. Vajra. Thank you so much. Or Vajra. Thank you so much. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong, but it is beautiful. So thank you all so much for the support. Seriously, couldn't do it without you. All right. Welcome, guys. Hope you're all having a good day. We have some things to talk about. Not a ton. I'm telling you guys right now, there's not a ton to discuss, but we do have some things to talk about. So when we left off yesterday, Kevin and David are on the block. We know that. Cody won power veto. Cool. Low to no chance of him using the POV. But everyone was like freaking out because during the power veto competition, David went for the $10,000 and got it in the first round of OTEV, and people were not vibing with that, especially like Danny and Memphis. They were both saying like, I don't want to vote for David to stay. Like, I want to vote him out. Memphis is like going with the flow now, but like Danny is she's wanting Kevin to stay because she knows she has a better connection with Kevin. She knows that David is targeting her, and I think she's a little bit bitter, but she only got $5,000 in the HOH comp, and David got $10,000 in the veto. But anyway, Christmas and Tyler check in the backyard, and Tyler's like, did you hear that Danny's already trying to get Kevin to stay? And Christmas is like, yeah, we weren't even done with the competition for 5 minutes, and Danny was already saying that David has to go. Christmas's new favorite topic to discuss. I am losing brain cells watching this. Christmas's new favorite topic of discussion is Danny. She's almost always talking about Danny. It's wild when she's not talking about herself. But anyway, Christmas feels that Danny and Nicole are both on Cody's radar now. And Tyler's like, Danny, yes. Nicole, no way. Nicole is Cody's final two. True that. I've been saying it for a while. I'm pretty sure that Nicole is Cody's true final two because he feels that he can beat her in the end no matter what, because she's already won, and most people are not going to want to vote for someone who's already won over somebody that hasn't. And I mean, Nicole, what has she even done in this game so far besides like the flip vote that she lied about, which again was a dope move, but like what else has she done so far? So Christmas is like, well, let's fix that, implying we're going to get rid of Nicole. They agree that they want to keep David for a few more weeks and get rid of Danny and Nicole first. They feel like they can still use David. And in order to get Danny and Nicole out, they're like, we can't use David as a pawn because people will just vote him out instead. Oh no, you're running out of pawns. What are you going to do? So they plan on putting Danny and Nicole up on the block together to guarantee that one of them will go. I mean, that's what you got to do when you target one of them, right? Put them both up. So Christmas is saying for this week, she wants David to stay, of course. But she doesn't want to campaign too much for him to stay. She wants him to do his own damage repair. And she says, best case scenario, David wins HOH next week, and he takes the shot that we want him to. Unfortunately, I think that could possibly happen. Like, David would do what they want because David wants to target Nicole and Danny, but also Cody. So it would be kind of cool if he went after Cody instead, but they are wanting him to go after Danny and Nicole. And Tyler is saying, I'm going to make sure that David knows who is pushing for him to go this week. He's talking about Danny and Nicole. Nicole is not pushing for David to go, but Tyler's going to lump her in there anyway because he wants her out of here. Christmas says, yeah, Danny and Nicole are already David's targets. So, like, we just got to keep up what we're doing. Great. Okay. So then, honestly, like, I'm not, like, rooting for Danny and Nicole, but, like, I'm not really rooting for anyone after Kevin and David go. Like, Enzo? I don't know. Like, who do you even root for at that point? But anyway, the house guests were chilling in the backyard a lot yesterday and just enjoying the nice weather. It was a pretty, like, relaxed day for the most part. Cody went up to the have-not room at one point for a game chat with Enzo. Enzo slept until, like, late into the day. I think part of it is just because he's a have-not and he hasn't been eating right, so he's, like, really tired. But anyway, they feel like they're in a really good spot game-wise right now. Cody says, like, the only person that might come after us is Christmas. But she's probably going to target Danny first, right? I think that's pretty accurate. I would say maybe Cody would go up on the block if, like, Danny saved herself with the POV. But I still think maybe Christmas would want Nicole out before Cody. I don't know. So Cody says we do need to clip Christmas next, meaning after Kevin. Kevin is still the plan for this week. But he says it would be nice if Christmas could win HOH and clip Danny before we get rid of Christmas. Can we just, like, clip the word clip? I'm so tired of Cody saying, like, we're going to clip this person. We're going to clip this person. No. Clip is good when you use it in the Dorinda Medley way. But in this way, I hate it. So anyway, yeah. He wants Christmas to stay around to target Danny and then get rid of Christmas. Enzo is saying, you know what? Next week, I would like Nicole to win HOH. Get some blood on those hands. And Cody's saying, yeah, Nicole would target Memphis or Tyler if she wins HOH. And they feel like that would be good for them, obviously. You know, somebody else taking out those guys. They talk about how so many people are targeting Danny now, which is true. But it's interesting because, like, a ton of people want Danny out. Pretty much everybody wants Danny out. But how many people are actually willing to make that move themselves? I feel like a lot of them are cool with somebody else doing it and they'll vote her out. But there's a bunch of them that do not want to be the one to actually do it. Cody doesn't want to do it. Enzo doesn't really want to be the one to put her up. Nicole does not want to be the one to put Danny up. So, you know, the options there are limited. You got Christmas, Tyler, David, definitely, but, like, I don't know. I don't think even Memphis really wants to make that move. I think he would rather have somebody else do it. So, yeah, Cody and Enzo are realizing, like, even if one of us does go up on the block, as long as we're next to Danny, we should have the votes to stay. So, I gotta say, like, it's true. Who would even be targeting Enzo and Cody once Kevin is gone? I don't really hear their names come up as, like, potential nominees besides Kevin and David saying that. So, like, they're in a really, really good spot. But anyway, Cody's saying we can just chill right now and then just win HOH whenever we have to. Cool. Sounds great. Wow. So they just really want to focus on making sure that Christmas stays on track to target Danny. So Cody plans to tell Christmas that Danny was trying to get her backdoored this week. I don't think it's, I think Christmas is pretty set on targeting Danny. So, like, I wouldn't be worried about it. But anyway, Christmas and Memphis have a game chat in the key bedroom. And they're talking about this week's vote. Memphis earlier was saying, like, I want David out of here. I don't want to vote for him to stay after he pulled that crap in the POV competition going for the money. So while he feels that way, he's also saying, you know what, I'm fine with getting rid of Kevin or David. Like, whoever is going to help us more to get to the end. Like, we should keep that person. So Christmas is saying straight up, like, I want David to stay. She feels like David will kind of listen to her at least more than Kevin would, which I think is true. And Memphis is cool with it. He's like, yeah, then let's keep David, whatever. So then Christmas is like, Memphis. Okay, just to set this up, like, we all know that this whole time Memphis has been like, committee's number one. Like, we got to get committee to the final 6 or at least final 7 because he does want Enzo to stick around. But he's saying we got to get committee down to like final 7 and then we can start going after each other. So Christmas, really going out on a limb here, telling Memphis that she wants Danny out before they get rid of David. And Memphis is like, he says Danny's digging her own grave, like even with Cody at this point. So again, Memphis does not want to be the one to take her out. But yeah, Memphis says if it's not a double this week, that would be bizarre. They've all been thinking it was going to be a double for like the last few weeks now. But guess what, guys? Thursday is a triple, yo! Can't wait. I'm excited for it because I just want to like clear this house out a bit. So anyway, I'm also just excited to see like the looks on their faces when they hear that it's a triple. I think it's going to be exciting. So Christmas asks Memphis, have you checked in with Enzo lately? And Memphis says, yeah, yesterday, just like for a little bit. He says Enzo is just stoked to be a part of it. He's talking about the Wise Guys final 3. Yeah, he's so excited. Just to remind you guys, Enzo has already spilled to Cody about Memphis's like double, like dueling final 3 deals, the Wise Guys, but Christmas does not know about the other one yet. So she's like all on board for it. She loves it. But Cody knows what's up, that there's 2 Wise Guys alliances. So they're saying we need to make a plan for this double eviction. We need to make sure that the Wise Guys are on the same page for what we would do. And Memphis is saying, okay, when we're talking to committee members, like we really need to push committee. Like the committee needs to stay together just for our own safety so that if somebody else in the committee wins HOH, like maybe they won't come after us because they'll think we need to take out David or even like Enzo first. However, Memphis says if we win, if one of us wins, we take a shot, obviously. Of course, it's always the double standard. Like, you're not allowed to do this, but I am. So I'm assuming he means take a shot at like Danny, but you know that's definitely what Christmas is thinking because Christmas says if Danny wins HOH, she's definitely going to take a shot at me. Yes. And she says Danny and Nicole are the only people that cannot win this next HOH competition. Like everybody else should be fine. Cool. Okay, so then a little later, Kevin checks in with Danny out by the hammock, and Danny's asking, like, how are you feeling today? And Kevin says he's strangely at peace. Kevin asks her, do you think I have a shot or is it my time? He says, because I'm okay either way. Don't be okay either way. Fight. I know it's like tough to say that to somebody like Kevin because like he's been at the bottom like all season, but I don't want to see him give up. So also like these seasons where like the decisions are basically made like on a Friday and then like they just see what happens with the POV and then usually there's not a change anyway, but it's very frustrating to watch, and I can't imagine how frustrating it is to play like that, especially if you're on the outs. But anyway, Danny's like, I don't know yet. You know what I want. She wants Kevin to stay. Kevin's like, I know that, and I appreciate it. But Danny says, I think what David did yesterday, like him taking the $10,000 during the Power Veto competition, that's a huge strike against him. Like, everyone's really mad about it. Everyone, I don't know about that. I feel like a lot of people have cooled off about it by now, but Danny is still holding on to that. So Kevin says, I think it was a $10,000 mistake. Like, I really want to be here. I didn't go for the money. Like, I still went for the Power Veto. I didn't give up. And this is something that Kevin has started talking to people about as he's, like, going around and having preliminary, like, campaign discussions with people, saying, like, I really want to be here. I didn't go for the money. I don't think it matters at this point. Like, don't they usually want to keep people that, like, don't care and, like, they feel like they can beat? So it doesn't really matter at this point. But, you know, he's got to try it. So Danny brings up again, like, how funny it would be if David was evicted this week and had to go to the jury house with the DVD showing how he effed up. Like, he was fine, and then he went for the money, and now he was evicted because of it. So she's saying, like, I would love to see Davon's reaction. And again, I mentioned this yesterday. She keeps bringing this up over and over again. Feels like a little bit mean-spirited. So anyway, Kevin is hoping that everyone will see that he fought for the power veto and then he did not give up. We already talked about that. Okay, so Kevin says for campaigning, he really needs to work on Memphis, Christmas, and Enzo. Good luck with that. So Danny's like, I would say maybe even try to patch things up with Cody. I know you don't want to, but, you know, sometimes you got to just do what you got to do, swallow your pride. She says, say nice things to him, say you're sorry, even if you don't mean it. And Kevin's like, you know what? You're right. Even though there's like a 90% chance that it would be a no, like, it's still worth trying, right? And Danny says, yeah, you can't go down without a fight. So a few minutes later, Kevin asks Cody to chat. They go up to the HOH room, and Kevin is like, thank you for connecting. He says, as my time here is coming to an end, I just want to enjoy my time here. He says, I don't want to have like icky feelings. And Cody agrees 100%. Just to remind you guys, they had that really like tense, bad conversation before the nomination ceremony when Kevin told Cody, like, the world doesn't revolve around you and, you know, other fun things like that. So Kevin says that was such an awkward moment and he doesn't even know what happened. He says, I want to take full ownership of it, which it sucks to see Kevin like having to apologize for this, but like they were both faking it in this conversation. I don't know. But anyway, Cody says, it's not your fault. You know, it's just what you've gone through in this game. You've been on the block so many times. Like, I get it. So Kevin says, I feel like I just felt exhausted at the time. And he said he's embarrassed about his actions. I don't think it was that bad. Considering what he's been through. But yeah, that's not him. He doesn't want that to be like how people remember him and stuff. So he says, you know, Cody, the more I looked back on the conversation and thought about it, like the more I saw that you were making valid points and I was just angry about that. So he says, that's not how I want to go out. I shouldn't have escalated that conversation like that. And Cody's like, oh, no, it's okay. Like, I wasn't helping you, like, come to a middle ground. I was putting it all on you, blah, blah, blah. So in this conversation, like, Kevin is trying to smooth things over to stay. And Cody is working on that jury vote. So they're both being, like, very nice to each other. Not that they shouldn't, right? Like, it doesn't need to be nasty, but at the same time, like, they're definitely being really nice for more than just being nice reasons. So they chat for a while. They kind of hash things out. And at one point, Kevin says, you know what, Cody, like, I don't think that you should use the veto. I think that would be stupid. But I do want you to know that conversation spiraled out of control because of me. Kevin is really trying to like take all the credit here for that going wrong and like put it on himself. And Cody's like, no, like I definitely had a hand in it too. And Kevin says, like, I don't feel like you're gunning for me. Like, why me? That would be weird. And he says, I don't think you have a vendetta against me. I don't have a vendetta against you. Yeah, you both have vendettas against each other. So Cody says, I'm so happy that we had this conversation. They agree that they're not going to be awkward with each other anymore for however long Kevin is here. I mean, Kevin knows he's going. But Kevin says, like, I'm going out. So let me know how I can help you. Let me know if anything comes up that you need me to clarify. I'm going to be going around campaigning. So I'm sure, like, information's going to come out and get like telephoned and like all weird. So seriously, come to me if you hear anything that you need clarification on. And Cody says, yeah, of course, like definitely. So Kevin says, if the miracle of the Big Brother gods happens and I do stay, then that's like a sign to me. That means that I really need to reconcile something with you. He says, I will do everything possible to let you know that I'm not a direct threat to your game. You are a significantly better competitor than I am. He's like, am I really a threat to you? Like, I can't even win an HOH. He says a lot of people don't realize, like, I'm not winning things. So, like, I'm not in a position to make moves here. But Kevin says, if there's an agreement that we can make together, I'm totally down to do that so that moving forward, we don't have these moments of understanding, like that awkward conversation. So he says, I'm not coming after you. I would take advice on what to do if I do get power. And he says, I'm completely alone now. I'm just desperate for someone to be like, hey, I'm on your side. And throughout all this, Cody is just saying like, yeah, to everything. He is not biting. Like Kevin is basically like, please make a deal with me, please, anything. And Cody's like, nah. So Cody says he's glad they had this conversation. They wrap it up. Spoiler alert. Kevin is still Cody's target. This hasn't changed anything, but at least they're on good terms, right? Okay, so then the feeds went down a little while later for like 4.5 hours, like the whole evening. I don't know if it was another wall yeller. There were rumors of that. I don't know if this was like they were filming something for the neighbor twist with Dr. Will. Who knows? Because when the feeds finally came back, the house guests were all keeping it casual after that. I didn't hear any rumblings of like Dr. Will or anything. Honestly, there was nothing really exciting going on last night. Like very, very minimal game talk at all. So yeah, today they had the power veto ceremony, but before that, Cody was being a total a-hole. This was so messed up. So David and Cody were in the backyard, and at one point they found themselves like alone out there. So Cody turns to David, and he's like, David, I'm using the veto. Who should I put up on the block as a replacement? You've got 10 seconds, go. And then he starts counting down. He's like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And David's like, whoever you feel like is best for your game. And Cody goes, all right, I'm not using it. Like, you're staying up on the block. You failed miserably there. So then David's like, okay, well, like my answer would have been biased for my game. Like it wouldn't necessarily make sense for your game. And Cody's like, I was kidding, David. I'm not using the veto. That was so effed up. It was so effed up. Cody is getting way too comfortable in there. It was gross. And I feel like Cody would go through the roof if somebody, especially David, did that to him. It was so just like nasty. Yeah, that was really gross. But anyway, power veto ceremony. Cody did not use the veto. Big surprise there. I feel like I'm turning into Danny slowly. Like, shocker. Kevin and David remain up on the block. One of them will be leaving on Thursday. So after the ceremony, the feeds come back to Cody and Christmas mid-chat in the HOH room. We missed the beginning of this conversation. But earlier, Cody was telling the boys that he was planning on letting Christmas know that he wouldn't have put her up if the power veto was used. That's a lie. He would definitely have put her up if somebody else won the veto and used it, for sure. But he wants to make sure they're on good terms and that she's not going to like target him if she wins HOH. So he is lying to her. So yeah, I'm assuming he told her that before the feeds came back on. So then he talked some crap about Danny, of course. Nothing really new here. I think it is possible that also before the feeds came back, Cody may have let her know that Danny was trying to get her backdoored, because that is a piece of information that he said he wanted to share with her. And yeah, they agree they want to continue to work together moving forward. Cool. Super excited for that alliance. I love it. Okay. Meanwhile, I just almost ran over my own foot with this rocking chair. Okay, the mole man asked, who did he say he was going to put up? We didn't hear in this conversation. I think he said it like before the feeds came back, but I know he was discussing earlier, acting like he was going to put Enzo up on the block. So I'm assuming that's what he told her. Again, that's a lie. He would not put Enzo up on the block. Okay, so meanwhile, Kevin and David are chatting outside, and David is saying, like, I don't want to keep getting nominated moving forward. This freaking sucks. So Kevin says, you know what? They might take you to the end. No shade, but they might think that they can make a great case against you in the end. You know, like a goat. He says, that's how my ass got to the end in season 11. You know, people underestimate you, and then you start winning competitions right at the end because the odds go up when there are less people left. So then Kevin is telling David, you need to start winning stuff. Build up your resume quickly at the end. You know, it doesn't take much to start, you know, piling up the wins. If you don't, you could become a sacrificial goat. Yeah. I could see, like, if David is able to stick around until the end and he's still not winning competitions, I could definitely see people choosing him to go to the final two because it would be like a slam dunk. But anyway, David says, I really need to start campaigning, but I'm afraid to go up against your professional campaignism. You know, this is Kevin's 5th time up on the block, so he's like got it down at this point. Kevin's like, oh no, like that doesn't even matter. He says, I am hyper aware that people's minds are about like 90% made already. Yeah, he was talking about how the decision is basically made by the time nominations happen, and this was not the case in the past. But that is one of the reasons that modern BB kind of sucks, because how often do we actually see votes flipped anymore? It doesn't happen much, and it's such a bummer because it is super exciting when it does really happen. But that just doesn't seem to be the case lately, especially this season. So yeah, that's a bummer. But anyway, that's where we're at right now. We've got 3 days left until the eviction. At this point, Kevin is going. I don't want to see either of them go, but at this point, Kevin is going. And it's very sad. But at least we have the triple coming up. So yeah. Just waiting for Mom to come in now. Here she is. Hello. And Bowie, yay!
He said, don't you go running me over with that chair.
I know. All of you Bowie fans out there who are
Do you have
always
a license
asking
to drive that chair?
I don't. Who are always asking how he's doing. He's doing, I don't want to jinx it, knock on wood, but he's doing so much better. His leg is looking great. His ears are looking great. So everything's coming up roses right now.
I don't think that doggy ibuprofen agreed with
No,
him.
the Vetprofen doesn't work with his like collie stomach. But his leg is looking so much better, so we're happy about that. Okay, cool. So I want to thank our super chatters. I see we've got let me just write this down. Everyone can watch me write.
Ooh, you know how to write?
No, I just use symbols that I made up myself.
Oh, I thought you did it by telepathy.
So I want to thank Rexum RS, Tori J. Thank you so much. And Tori has a question. How do I get my info from the feeds? I just watch live feeds. Oh, for the feeds? Like, what do you mean? Like, how do I get all my information together for these spoilers?
I think that's what they meant.
Okay. I watch live feeds, but I think you mean like, how do I go about doing that? Because a lot of people have asked this before. I don't just like sit and watch the feeds 24/7 because that would be absolutely insane. And I feel like I would miss a lot of stuff if that was how I did it. But I rely on a lot of really awesome other updaters so I can like kind of sift through and see what's important, what conversations I really want to listen to, and see what parts of the feeds are worth watching. So I want to give shout outs to some of my favorite like written spoilers, because I know I give a lot of love to the other Big Brother YouTubers. Okay, sir.
Me.
But I also love a lot of like print
blogs.
Yeah, some blogs, not print, but like, you know what I mean. Nene. So of course, Hamster Watch, one of the OGs, she is amazing. Online Big Brother is a great source. Also Big Brother Daily on Twitter, amazing. BB22 live feeds also has amazing updates. I will say like the difference between the two Twitter ones, Big Brother Daily, they are a lot more of like the nuts and bolts. Like they do a lot more of the game conversations, and then like BB22 live feeds, they have kind of like everything. Like you get a lot of the game conversations, but you also have a lot of like the BS, which can be fun. And it's good to know like what's going on when they're not gaming. So I think they're all really great resources. So that's how I compile all my information. I figure out what's important from them, and then I go back and watch what I need to watch and take my own notes. So Yeah, thank you for your question and for the support. Ashley Barnett, thank you so much. And Ashley said, it's moot, but in your opinion, do you think BB After Dark would have stirred things up amongst the house guests like it would encourage them to perform? That's a good question, because I know like in the past, they would wait until a certain time to like do things like different activities or like.
I think that's because they told them, hey,
it could be.
You better liven it up right now. We're going to give you some alcohol.
Yeah.
Put on a show.
I will say, I think it's a little bit different when it's an all-star season because these house guests have been through it before and they are already in the limelight. So I think a lot of them don't really care if they're entertaining. Like a lot of them are there for the money right now. Like they don't care about putting on a show because they've already done it.
They've already got the notoriety.
They've already done that, yeah. So they're like, I'm here for the money. So I don't think it would make as much of a difference like this season, but maybe in other seasons.
Except for Nicole.
Oh God. I think in other seasons it might play into it more. I don't want
my fans to think I'm a monster.
Yeah, right. Also, okay, thank you so much to Maria B. You are awesome. We really appreciate it. Let me just get you on here so we can give you a shout out tomorrow as well. And Sheena123, thank you so much. You are amazing. Sheena's always got such nice compliments too on like our hair and our outfits. And it does not go unnoticed. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sheena.
You're very sweet. All right. That's where we're at right now. So thank you all so much for watching.
Just collapse in the corner right now.
I know, right?
It's been a long weekend.
Yeah. So we will see you guys again tomorrow for the next spoiler. Yeah. Oh, Sheena asked a question too. I'm so sorry. Sheena asked a question. Do you think Dr. Will play a part in the Thursday show? I think so. I think he's going to be there.
Trot him out again?
Yeah. I think maybe he'll be the one to announce the triple eviction.
Oh, maybe.
Right? He said he's going to be back. Maybe he'll host a competition from the balcony. Who knows? But yeah, I think
the balcony.
That's what it is.
I know.
The neighbor's house. But yeah, I think Dr. Will definitely be back on Thursday.
You should have put him in a little treehouse.
That'd be fun. All right. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for being here. And until next time, much love.
Oh.